Daddy, help me! Riley's scream split the air so hard it felt like the world just snapped in half. I'll never forget the sound of those words, her voice full of raw panic echoing out over our quiet little lake. I floored the truck gravel exploding out behind me, not thinking, just moving. Two men in police uniforms dragging my daughter toward a black van by the dock out where the pines meet the water. The bigger one flashed a badge, but even from 50 yards away, something about it looked off. His partner had Riley's arm in a death grip while she kicked and sobbed, wild with fear. HOA enforcement, the big guy barked when he saw me barreling down. Detention for community violations. I'll tell you, my hands were white-knuckling the steering wheel so hard it hurt. 50 acres. Nothing but us and nature out here. No neighbors for miles, no busybodies, just the lake, the wind, and my kid. They must have figured this was the perfect place for their scam, a helpless girl and empty property. They thought wrong, dead wrong. The truck slid to a stop 3 feet from the fake cops, dust swirling, tires screaming. Before the engine died, I was out heart-pounding, every muscle in my body coiled tight. 20 years of Navy SEAL training kicked in, assess, analyze, act. 2 males, 30s, polyester uniforms that hung wrong on their frames. Cheap badges, off-brand shoes, everything just wrong. Let go of my daughter. Now. I didn't have to shout. That kind of command you learn at leading men when things go sideways, life or death stuff. The bigger guy kept his grip on Riley, who was still fighting. Good kid. Never stop fighting. Sir, step back. This is official HOA business. The shorter one tried to puff up, but he was sweating bullets, badge hanging crooked. Looked like something you'd buy for a Halloween costume, you know what I mean? Real badges. Feel real. They've got weight, a certain gravity. These guys just had props. I moved closer, running through my checklist. Wrong shoes, generic black sneakers instead of boots, no belts, no body cams, no vehicle markings. It was amateur hour, but still amateurs with my kid. HOA. I kept my voice steady, even as the fury inside me started to freeze into something deadly. We live on private lakefront. There's no homeowners association out here. The big one squeezed Riley's arm tighter. Pine Valley Lake Community Association has filed complaints. Your daughter's behavior, environmental violations, disturbing the peace. She needs to come with us for evaluation and possible detention. Pure fiction. Pine Valley's 8 miles north, other county. These clowns weren't cops, weren't even rent-a-cops, just predators. Show me your warrant, I said, moving in. Show me anything giving you the right to lay a finger on my kid. The shorter one reached into his jacket, bad move. I was on him before he could even blink, hand clamped on his wrist jacket, falling open to reveal a manila folder stuffed with paperwork. Easy there, partner, the big guy said, but the fake authority was leaking out of his voice like air from a busted tire. I grabbed the folder. Inside, photocopied forms with bogus letterheads, fonts all wrong, seals, blurry paper thin as tissue. But what made my stomach drop was seeing Riley's name on every page, our address, photos of our house, notes on our routines. They'd been watching us. You've been surveilling my family, I said, voice barely more than a growl. You picked the wrong people. The rage wasn't hot. It was cold, icy, sharp. Look, Mr. Blackwood. The short guy knew my name. That clinched it. This wasn't random. Your daughter's been swimming in restricted areas, leaving trash disturbing wildlife. The community board voted for immediate intervention. More lies. Our place has 500 feet of private shoreline. They'd been watching, mapping our routines, waiting for a moment when I'd be away. Daddy, they said they were taking me to a detention center. They had handcuffs. Riley's voice shaking but clear. I looked over the van, Nevada plates and Wyoming rental sticker, half-scraped windows, tinted way too dark. Not a single official marking anywhere. This was criminal planning, plain and simple. Here's what's going to happen, I said, pulling out my phone. You're getting in that van and leaving my property right now. If I ever see either of you within 10 miles, it won't be the sheriff you need to worry about. The short guy squared up, found some courage. We have legal obligations. This detention order is signed by legitimate authorities. I held up their fake documents. Jurisdiction doesn't even exist. Try again. They looked at each other, calculating. Most people faced with badges and papers comply first, ask questions later. They picked the wrong guy. Sir, if you interfere, we'll have to place you under arrest. The big guy started reaching for his belt. All I saw was empty polyester and desperation. On what charge? I was already moving, putting myself between them and Riley, protecting my kid from kidnappers, because that's exactly what this was. The shorter guy's phone buzzed. He looked down, went pale. Whatever message he got, it rattled him. We'll be back, the big guy said, backing away. With proper backup, the community board doesn't tolerate interference. I memorized their plate, XYZ4447. You never know what intel might matter. Their engine coughed, van stuttering down the access road. Not pros, just criminals making mistakes. But as the van disappeared, I knew this wasn't over. They'd spent too long studying us, wouldn't just give up. Riley was shaking. Dad, how did they know my name? How'd they know you'd be gone? My blood ran cold. They'd been watching us, learning when we were most vulnerable. Not opportunists, hunters. Inside, I checked every lock, armed the security system. Riley at the kitchen table, pale but recovering. The fake doc spread out like evidence. How long, Dad? She asked, voice small. I studied the photos, multiple angles, notes in different handwriting, weeks of surveillance. Long enough to know too much, I said, but not long enough to know who they're up against. Phone buzzed. Unknown number. This isn't over, Blackwood. Next time, real authority. I showed Riley. She went pale, then set her jaw. My kid, tough as nails. What now? She asked. I deleted the text, pulled up my contacts. 3 names, Donovan, Clayton, Holden, guys who'd drop anything for me. Now I said, we get ready for when they come back. You calling the team? Riley asked. I was already dialing. The team never really disbanded, sweetheart. We just wait for someone dumb enough to make it necessary. 3 calls, 3 immediate responses, no questions asked. Brotherhood runs deep. Within the hour, my living room looked like a tactical ops center. Riley on the couch, laptop open steady for a kid who'd nearly been snatched. They mentioned Pine Valley Lake Association, she said, spinning her screen around. Professional website, board member photos, complaints, portal slick but too new. Domain registered 2 weeks ago, Donovan noted. Whole thing's fake. We spread the surveillance photos out. Telephoto shots of our property, me loading gear, Riley at the dock, even through the kitchen window. This was organized crime, not random punks. My phone buzzed again. Email, more photos. Not just us, 3 other lakefront families, all military, all isolated, all with kids. These creeps had a portfolio. We're not the only ones, I realized. Riley called Mrs. Morrison down the lake. Same fake cops, she said after hanging up. Came for their son 3 days ago. Claimed violations. Mr. Morrison ran them off, but they threatened to come back. Patterns clear, Donovan said, checking his weapon. Military families' assets to extort kids, to threaten. Clayton nodded, but they picked the wrong lake. Riley ran the van's plate through the county site rental, fake license, credit card stolen from a Denver hotel. Just then, my secure phone rang, Deputy Williams from the sheriff's office. Davidson's just called. Same story. 2 men, fake uniforms, tried to take their daughter. Gone before we arrived. Tire tracks match your van. 4 families, 4 days. The failed attempt here spooked them. They were accelerating. They're moving fast because you scared them, Riley said quietly. Clayton's phone buzzed. Neighbor? Text strange van, cruising the road, Nevada plates. They're scouting again. Holden confirmed, pulling up our security footage from this morning. Van creeping past our gate driver in shades, passenger taking photos, multiple recon passes. Zoom in on the passenger, I said. Woman 40s, auburn hair, expensive jewelry. Not one of the guys who grabbed Riley. That's their handler, Clayton said. Real boss. I sent the image to Deputy Williams. 20 minutes later, my phone rang. Celeste Hayward, multiple fraud arrests, wanted in California for fake charity scams. She ran cons for a living move in target isolated families, grab what you can disappear. Riley tapped her laptop. Celeste Hayward LLC Incorporated, Nevada, 6 months ago, listed as community safety consulting. Holden grunted. Front company, phony contracts, fake letterhead, the works. I started thinking tactics. She'd be cautious now, law enforcement involved, but desperate to salvage something. She'll try one more score, I said. Big enough to make the risk worthwhile. Donovan nodded. Or she comes back for Riley. The idea made my skin crawl. Not happening. We set up. Defensive positions, barn loft, boat launch house perimeter. Overlapping fields of fire. Home field advantage. When they come back, we'll be ready, I said. Riley looked up, eyes sharp. What if we don't wait? My daughter already thinking like a seal. Use me as bait, she said. Brave kid, but I could see the fear buried beneath the resolve. The afternoon dragged out 3 hours of prep, radio checks, overwatch. Then movement. Donovan's voice crackled through comms van on the perimeter, same as before. I scanned the tree line, scope tight on the approach. Clayton at the boat launch, Holden covering the rear. Riley sat on the dock, fishing pole earpiece hidden under her hair. To any outsider, just a normal teenager. What they couldn't see was the tactical vest under her shirt or the panic button in her pocket. Remember the signal I whispered? First sign of trouble, you get down, stay down. Copy that, Dad. The van slowed, stopped behind the pines, exactly where we figured. Phone buzzed. Last chance, Blackwood. Hand over the girl or face federal charges. Yeah, right. Target's moving. Holden reported. 2 men approaching through the woods now with tactical vests, wannabe SWAT. Riley, you good? Nervous but ready, she said, casting her line. The fake cops stepped out, Vernon Caldwell and Briggs Hoffman. Vernon had paperwork, Briggs' hand near a weapon. Both had body cams, probably for fake documentation. Official business, Vernon called out. Miss Blackwood, you need to come with us. Riley stood calm. Told you yesterday I haven't done anything wrong. New evidence, Briggs said, flashing cuffs. Environmental damage, interference with official duties, federal jurisdiction. They kept ramping up the lies. But every word was being recorded, our cameras, theirs. Riley asked for ID, backing toward her panic position. Real ID, not fake badges. Vernon's face darkened. Young lady, you're in enough trouble. Don't make this harder. He reached for her arm. That was the signal. Riley dropped to the dock. I called green light. Donovan emerged from the water, cutting off escape. Clayton flanked left. Holden blocked the road. Hands visible, I shouted. You're surrounded by U.S. Navy SEALs. Sudden moves will be considered hostile. The fake cops froze. Their confidence vanished, overwhelmed by tactical reality. This is harassment, Vernon yelped. We're federal agents. No, you're criminals, I said, descending from the loft. Drop your weapons, prone positions now. Briggs made a rookie mistake, went for his weapon. Clayton had him face down before he could blink. Vernon ran, but Donovan had him in a choke hold in 3 steps. Clean professional. I zip-tied their wrists. Searched their pockets, burner phones, fake IDs, documents, scheduling the next kidnappings, Morrison family, tomorrow Davidson's this weekend, the Hendersons after. This is systematic, Holden observed. They're working the whole lake. A phone rang, boss calling. I answered, voice disguised. Status, Celeste Hayward. We have a problem. The girl's father brought backup. Military types. Need extraction. Armed. What kind of backup, she asked. Professional. We're compromised. Need pickup. Long pause. Boat launch 20 minutes. Canceling this location. Perfect. 20 minutes to prep. Local law enforcement was staging nearby, ready for my signal, but this was our fight. Riley, furious, read through the files, photos of kids from 6 different families. They've been planning this for months. Not just us, but families across 3 counties. I counted at least 15 successful jobs over a year of extortion. Their scam worked because most victims were too afraid of scandal to call for help. But Celeste Hayward made a mistake. You don't threaten SEAL families. We don't pay. We end threats. We set up at the boat launch positions, covered rifles, trained escape routes, blocked. Black Mercedes rolled up engine running. Celeste stepped out, expensive suit, hard eyes. "Vernon report," she shouted, phone to her ear. Nothing but silence. She started to turn back. "Time to move. Execute," I said. Donovan blocked her path. Clayton and Holden moved in. "Celeste Hayward, U.S. Navy SEALs. You're under arrest." She froze, eyes, calculating hand going for her purse, then stopping, rifles aimed. "I'm just here for my employees," she said coolly. "Your employees are in custody for kidnapping with evidence of your entire operation. 15 families. 200,000 are stolen." Her mask slipped. "Just a second. You can't prove anything." Clayton called out, "We know everything. Fake business, fake IDs, all of it." She weighed her options, desperate. "What do you want, Justice?" I said. "Full confession, list of victims, restitution. And you'll go public." She tried to laugh. "I've beaten charges before. This isn't about you," Holden said. "It's about protecting families." She finally saw 3 operators, no escape. "Families won't testify," she tried. "They'll want this gone." "Wrong," I said. "Everyone's agreed. Maximum prosecution." That broke her composure. She surrendered. Donovan cuffed her. Holden secured the evidence. "How'd you catch us?" she muttered. "You threatened the wrong people," I replied. Sheriff's deputies arrived, professional courtesy, silent lights. "Outstanding work," the lead deputy said. "You broke the case wide open." As the patrol cars rolled away, I finally let myself breathe. But we weren't done. At the station, federal agents cataloged the scope: 47 families, 6 states, $300,000 stolen. Our quiet lake had been a hunting ground. Riley's face hardened, reading through the case files. "Not random," she said. "They targeted families like us, isolated military with kids, studied us, found our weaknesses." Victim statements poured in. Marine's wife, $15,000 paid to protect her daughter. Army family son traumatized, moved out of state. It was heartbreak and rage in every sentence. "Why military families?" Clayton asked. "Perfect victims, respect authority, avoid scandal, isolated." Calls came in all afternoon, thanks relief stories of fear. The sense of community was overwhelming. The investigation went deeper. They'd paid local residents for inside info. Neighbors we trusted sold us out. That betrayal cut deep. But with every hard truth, the community grew stronger. Families organizing, sharing intelligence, closing the gaps. Celeste, facing federal charges, tried to trade up, offered up her whole network for witness protection. Turned out we'd only scratched the surface, a nationwide scheme, 12 active cells, ex-military ringleader. Torres, the real boss, used military know-how against us, profiling families, leveraging honor and secrecy for profit. With her testimony, law enforcement moved arrests across the country. Cells dismantled, targets warned. 83 more families saved before it was too late. Corrupted officials got swept up to justice delivered military style. Back at the lake, life settled into something better than before. Riley found her confidence again, swimming at dawn, hiking, surrounded by friends and new security. More military families moved in, drawn by our reputation for protection. Our isolation turned to advantage: organized patrols, coordinated security. No one left vulnerable. Property values soared. Kids rode bikes and laughed by the water. Veterans patrolled together, keeping the peace. Riley helped welcome new families, explaining our system's community strength, not fear. The Department of Defense wanted to model our protocols nationwide. And as I watched the stars come out over the lake, Riley by my side, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. Not just relief, not just pride, but hope. "Dad, you think they'll ever try again?" she asked. "Maybe," I said, "but not here. Not anymore." Word's out, this place is protected by Navy SEALs and the toughest network of families you'll ever meet. She smiled fearless. Let them try. So tell me, what do you think? Is it justice when a community stands together like this, or is it just another kind of war? Have you ever faced a moment when you had to protect your own? Drop a comment below. Let's talk about what real justice means, what's right, what's wrong, and what you do to defend your family. If you've ever faced down a threat, I want to hear your story. And if you believe in community over fear,